This
OPR अप्रूव
conference
करने
will
के
now be recorded.
हाँ, तो
Sorry.
वो अप्रूव करने के बाद वो यूजर जो है वो जो हार्ड कॉपी है, हार्ड या सॉफ्ट कॉपी सप्लायर को भेजता था, फिर वो पीओ क्रिएट होने के फिर वो पीओ नंबर क्रिएट होता था हमारे अप्रूवल के
तो
बाद।
इसको हम एएसएन एरर बोलते थे, हम एएसएन एरर। तो एएसएन एरर में ये करते थे ऐसे, बहुत सारे एरर्स थे अरीबा में। तो वो भी जैसे कि प्रॉफिट सेंटर का एरर है, तो बाद में एडिट करके उसी में जो स्टक हुआ है पीआर, उसको ही एडिट करके हम अंदर चेंजेस करके बाद में वो पुश करते थे। मतलब जो जो भी पीआर स्टक हुआ है उसको हम पुश करके चेंजेस करके भेज देते थे। जैसे कि ईएमपी में एक ईएमपी प्लेटफॉर्म है और एक अरीबा प्लेटफॉर्म है हमारा, ईएमपी अरीबा का ये प्लेटफॉर्म। तो ईएमपी में नॉर्मली सबमिशन ये वो रिक्वेस्टर कर देता है, वहां पे हो जाता है एडिट। बट आगे जाके वो अरीबा में स्टक होता है, तो अरीबा में सबमिटेड स्टेटस में रहता है। जब हम चेंजेस करके उसको ये करते हैं, गुड टू गो करते हैं, तब वो जाके ऑर्डर्ड में चला जाता है। नहीं तो जब तक हम वो एरर रिजॉल्व नहीं करते थे तब तक वो ऑर्डर नहीं जाता था वो अरीबा में। तो अगर पीओ बनने का है और उसमें कुछ दिक्कत है तो वो सबमिटेड स्टेटस में हम उसको थोड़ा सा मतलब सेटिंग्स में जाके चेंज करते थे बैकएंड से, और वो आगे जाता था ऑर्डर स्टेटस में बाद में। ये टाइप का वर्क था हमारा।
Let me give one quick scenario. Let me give one quick scenario. Suppose let's say I have created one purchase order in the Ariba P2P. Buying investing, I have created one purchase order. Purchase order should reflect in the backend SAP system, and it should go via Ariba network. Okay, that is my expectation. Now let's say the PO is created in the Ariba, but it is stuck in the ordering status. So what we will do?
ओके, एक्चुअली वंस इफ गेट्स टू ऑर्डरिंग स्टेटस, उस टाइम में हमें कुछ चेंजेस नहीं करने, मतलब हम कुछ चेंजेस नहीं कर सकते थे। जब तक वो सबमिटेड में है तब तक ही हम उस पर चेंज कर पाते थे। एक बार ऑर्डरिंग में गया तो ऑर्डरिंग में एक आयरिस टीम था, वो आयरिस टीम थोड़ा बहुत हेल्प करता था हमें। अगर कुछ भी डीप टेक्निकल पार्ट था वो आयरिस टीम हमें मदद करती थी। जैसे कि ऑर्डरिंग में गया है और कुछ दिक्कत है, नहीं तो और क्या फोर्स क्लोज करना है, क्या करना है, ये आयरिस टीम देखती थी। राइट दीपक?
यस।
ठीक है, सो अभी जो मैंने सिनेरियो दिया उसमें क्या करोगे आप?
इसमें ऑलरेडी ऑर्डरिंग में गया है ना, और कुछ चेंजेस करने हैं तो हमारे इसमें मतलब ये सिनेरियो में ऐसे कुछ सिनेरियो नहीं आता था।
कोई चेंज नहीं करना मेरे को, बस मेरा सिनेरियो है कि मैंने पीओ बनाया इन द बाइंग इनवॉइसिंग, but PO supposed to transmit to backend SAP system. I am the Ariba guys. I do not have the access in the backend SAP system. Right. Now my PO is stuck in the ordering status. How you will investigate?
हाँ, तो ये रोहित, मतलब ऐसा कभी हुआ नहीं कि ऑर्डरिंग में ही स्टक हुआ है। एक बार वो सबमिटेड से ऑर्डरिंग में गया तो वो ऑर्डर्ड हो ही जाता है पीओ, मतलब हमारे केस में बता रहा हूँ, क्योंकि अगर गुड टू गो रहा तो ही वो ऑर्डरिंग में चला जाता है। और अगर कैंसिल करना है तो वो फोर्स क्लोज्ड कर सकते हैं, अगर उसको कैंसिल भी करना है ऑर्डरिंग में है और उसको। बट उसका
तो
अगर पीओ चाहिए,
रोहित ओपीओ फोर्स ऑर्डर ही होगा अगर ऑर्डरिंग में स्टक हो तो है, तो राइट। तो यही तो हमें सीखना है कि वो फोर्स ऑर्डर कैसे होता है, क्योंकि हम जो है फंक्शनल, जो जैसे आपने कहा कि हम फंक्शनल लेवल पे ही काम करते हैं। एज ए कंसल्टेंट अभी तक कुछ रोल किया नहीं है कोर टेक्निकल।
अच्छा, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। Basically, see, discussion is very important. Right?
Yes.
Learning is also important. Discussion is very important. Discussion will give you clear understanding. So even मैं कभी बाकी सेशन में कभी क्या होता है ना, see everyone is learning stage. You are in the learning stage since you are in the beginning. आप beginning का सोच रहे हो कि yes I have to learn beginning, right? Let's assume I am little bit in advance. तो मेरा suppose 5-6 साल हो गया अरीबा में. So I am trying to learn some advanced part. But everyone is learning stage. So अभी क्या होता है ना कि other batches like sometimes I am unable to they give that answer some of the question. So even I'm asking frankly. So दीपक आपके बैकग्राउंड नॉइज बहुत आ रहा है, मैंने आपको म्यूट किया है, आप अनम्यूट करना जब आपको कोई क्वेश्चन होगा तो। ठीक है, तो उसमें क्या होता है, मैं बोलता हूँ कि समटाइम्स आई एम गेटिंग सम क्वेश्चन एंड इवन आई डू नॉट हैव एनी आंसर, तो आई ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट सम ऑन अरीबा कनेक्ट, और जब भी हमारे कुछ टीम्स हैं उनसे डिस्कस करता हूँ मैं, बट स्टिल इफ आई एम नॉट गेटिंग टू फाइंड आउट, मैं फ्रेंकली बोलता हूँ कि वी कैन डिस्कस हियर सो दैट वी कैन लाइक सेट सम आउटपुट हियर, like what is that important of that field, what is the value of that field. That's why I'm just discussing. I will not take much time. Just last question मेरा आप लोगों से ये है कि have you attended any interview recently? If yes, so whatever questions you faced and how, or like how you performed in the interview.
Rohit, I have not attended any interview right now with the Ariba. Deepak has, I think.
यस रोहित, मैंने मतलब जब विप्रो लिफ्ट किया था तो मतलब बेसिकली वो आरिबा का ही रोल था, और जो सेम रोल था जो विप्रो में था वही रोल अभी एसकेएफ में है। जो भी मतलब जो क्वेरीज है यूजर की वही अभी सॉल्व करनी है, मतलब जैसे कि यूजर को आरिबा एक्सेस देना है, मतलब बेसिकली जो मैंने पास्ट में किया है वही क्वेश्चन उन्होंने पूछे, आप कैसे मतलब रिजॉल्व करोगे एरर, आपने कभी आरिबा पे काम किया है क्या, मतलब बेसिकली जो रोल है वो मैच होता था। और मोस्टली मतलब ऐसे कोर टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन उन्होंने कोई पूछे नहीं है।
Okay, ठीक है, got it. But generally what is happening now, whenever you will try to give the interview for the Ariba, they will ask like they will ask like different kind of questions based on the scenario. Sometimes they will ask you the straightforward question like brief me about SLP process, why we have to do supplier registration. They will ask you the questions from the template perspective, like how to put the conditions, or what are the conditions, that something question they will ask you. But they may ask you some different kind of scenarios questions as well, like जिसमें अभी बोला ना, PO is stuck in the ordering status. Now how, what activity we have to do, how we'll investigate this particular issue. So each type of question generally they are asking during interview, so we have to understand from that level, then only we'll able to be in the position to give some answer. ठीक है,
Yes, Rohit.
so anyway, all right. Okay, so I will just open this PowerPoint. So basically, mainly for the integration part, we are using like this PowerPoint itself. We have that like different screenshot as well. So if you come here, like in this slide, sorry. So these are the list of the setup that basically we have to do as part of the integration. So whenever we have to work on the integration, to set up the integration with Ariba to backend system, backend SAP system, we have to perform these are the different configuration. Not only this, we have around 15 to 16 configuration. Like we can see, we have around 16 configuration. So out of 16 configuration, like whatever configuration is applicable to your system, those configuration we have to adopt. Even for the integration, Ariba is also providing like that straightforward guide that is called as the cloud integration gateway configuration guide. So whenever we are working on any of the integration project, so in most of the cases we are referring those guides. So in the guide basically they have given all that particular configuration, whatever we need to do and how to do, all the information is available in that particular guide. So the thing is that if you see if you see the term of this like configuration, so some of the terms you may easily understand. Like let's say I'm saying here as like let's say send SAP connectivity data to CIG. Just I'm talking about this statement. So if we can easily understand what is this term, right? Because we are familiar with that. Sometimes we heard about this information and we are familiar with that. But if you come to downside, let's say I'm talking about add custom XLT. Can you understand? Nothing. Why? Because these are the purely technical.
No.
But if you right, but if you talk about the CIG part, like send SAP connectivity to data to CIG, this seems a little bit familiar. Not completely, but yes, little bit familiar because I heard about CIG. I know something about CIG. That is why we can easily digest this statement. But this statement is very tough to digest. Why? Because it is purely unknown. So that's why I said earlier, like it's not like if you have the like that experience or like that knowledge in the technical point of view, yes, you can go with the purely technical Ariba, sorry, integration part. But since we are functional, so we have to only understand that functional things which we can digest. This is just an example. Okay.
हाँ रोहित, तो ये जो इंटीग्रेशन का पार्ट है ना, हम मतलब जो जो टॉपिक्स हम कवर कर सकते हैं तो वो कर सकते हैं क्या क्या मतलब
वो करेंगे
आपका
हम
क्या
लोग।
कहना है? हाँ
Yeah, we'll discuss about CIG, what is CIG, and whatever the benefit that customer will get CIG, why we have to go with the CIG, whatever
हाँ
configuration we need to do from the CIG perspective. So if you see from
yes
CIG perspective, so some of the configuration we have to do on the CIG portal, like creating the integration project and like that specifying the value of the connectivity parameter, cross-reference, all those stuff we'll discuss. We'll talk about CIG portal. Some configuration, not a some, most of the configuration we have to do in the backend SAP system. So whatever configuration that is relevant to functional, that we'll discuss in the backend SAP system as well. वो भी हम बात करेंगे. We'll also talk about scenarios as well. Scenario is very important.
ओके
So why I'm saying scenario is very important? Let me give you one quick requirement. Let's say you are working as Ariba functional consultant. Okay, I'm the customer, and you are going to implement that Ariba buying and invoicing to me in my system, right? Now, as you know very well, like, and let's say I'm also using my backend SAP system as well. So I have the SAP ECC or SAP S4 HANA, whatever you can assume. Now you are implementing buying and invoicing, and as you know, like most of the customers, they are preferring to go via integration. So let's assume, so let's say we are planning to have the integration. So now this question I am putting to you. So can you please tell me in terms of the integration, what will be the customer expectation?
what will be the customer sorry
Expectation
expectation ओके ओके
in terms of
हाँ
the
तो
integration.
अच्छा
Try to
मतलब
brief from
उनके
इस तरह से बोलना, थोड़ा सा मतलब बेसिक से बोलोगे ना तो क्लियर अंडरस्टैंडिंग होगी. आई एम लेट्स से आई एम द कंप्यूरली लाइक दैट नॉन टेक्निकल. तो मैं तो कस्टमर, मेरे को नहीं पता अरीबा क्या है, अरीबा क्या है, आपका एसएपी क्या है, मुझे पता नहीं. But just I'm going to implement the SAP, like that basically Ariba on top of our backend SAP system. So अभी क्वेश्चन आ रहा है यहाँ पे कि what will be the customer expectation in terms of the integration part.
अच्छा नहीं रोहित मतलब इतना आइडिया नहीं है क्योंकि इंटीग्रेशन के
In terms
हमने
नहीं, in term integration में process point of view, क्या क्या expectation होगा customer का.
वो जो
हाँ
प्रोसेस है उसका, जो अरीबा प्रोसेस है वो जो मतलब अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो और वो स्मूथली रन करे आगे.
नहीं वो तो ठीक है, अगर स्मूथ रन नहीं करेगा तो मैं उसको अडॉप्ट नहीं करूंगा ना, दैट्स करेक्ट.
यस.
बट
हाँ
इन टर्म्स
जैसे
ऑफ
कि रोहित
द
कौन से उसको मॉड्यूल पे करना है इम्प्लीमेंटेशन जैसे
बाइंग
कि उसको
इनवॉइसिंग, बाइंग
हाँ
इनवॉइसिंग.
हाँ तो इनवॉइसिंग में अगर करना है तो क्या क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है उनका उसके अकॉर्डिंग वो इंटीग्रेशन पार्ट करके देना पड़ेगा ये टाइप में
नहीं
ना.
नहीं नहीं, जस्ट
हाँ
ट्राई टू
तो
थिंक
अगर
लिटिल बिट डीप.
टेक्निकली आपने पूछा तो सच में मुझे कुछ आइडिया नहीं है बट टेक्निकली मतलब हाँ वही है कि अगर कैसे इंटीग्रेशन होता है क्या वो तो पता नहीं
नहीं
है
नहीं
आगे का.
नहीं, मैं
हाँ
वो नहीं पूछ रहा हूँ, मैं वो नहीं पूछ रहा हूँ. जस्ट लाइक इट्स ए वेरी सिंपल. अभी देखो, आई एम गोइंग टू इम्प्लीमेंट बाइंग इनवॉइसिंग, ठीक है.
हाँ
अब बाइंग इनवॉइसिंग में क्या कर सकते हैं, वी कैन डू द P2P साइकिल, वी कैन क्रिएट परचेज रिक्विजिशन, right? We can go with the purchase order. We have to receipt, and we can do invoicing as well. Payment activity basically we will do in the backend SAP system. और आपको पता है पेमेंट अरीबा सपोर्ट नहीं करता, right? So in
ओके
that case, so in this case, this is my process, and now I am going to perform this activity on in the buying and invoicing. Now and also I would like to have the integration with backend SAP system. So इस केस में कस्टमर का एक्सपेक्टेशन क्या हो सकता है फ्रॉम द प्रोसेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, फ्रॉम लेमन पॉइंट ऑफ
प्रोसेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू उसका एक तो मतलब कम से कम में सब कुछ जैसे कि जो मॉड्यूल दे रहा है वो उसको लगेगा कि कम प्राइस में उसको अच्छा मॉड्यूल मिल जाए मतलब सब कुछ काम हो जाए वो मॉड्यूल का जो जो
व्यू. नहीं नहीं नहीं,
एक्सपेक्टेशन है
मैं
जैसे कि
प्रोसेस की
इनवॉइस.
बात कर रहा हूँ. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट प्रोसेस, P2P प्रोसेस. मैंने आपको हिंट भी दिया कि आई एम गोइंग टू परफॉर्म द P2P प्रोसेस इन द बाइंग एंड इनवॉइसिंग, एंड विल हैव द इंटीग्रेशन एज वेल विद बैकएंड SAP सिस्टम. तो प्रोसेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से what could be the customer expectation. So
मतलब
basically
वो
we have to think from that level, Ninal. अभी
हाँ
देखो,
right.
learning of the Ariba is not a very big thing if you put some effort, right? And if you're unable to put some effort, you can hire some, like, that any of this person, like just like as me, you can get in touch with me. Hey, मेरे Ariba सिखा दो यार, Ariba सीखना है. That's it. हो गया, वो तो सीख जाएंगे, no problem. But we have to think from that level, like we have to survive in this, like, the industry. तो हमें अल्टीमेटली क्या करना है, आपको अरीबा को सीख करके या और भी कोई आपका जो भी टेक्नोलॉजी उसको लर्न करके, व्हाट बेसिकली वी हैव टू डू अल्टीमेटली वी हैव टू इम्प्लीमेंट विद द बिजनेस कस्टमर, राइट? टुडे यू विल इम्प्लीमेंट विद द होंडा, so Honda will have the different customer requirement. वो बोलेगा नहीं नहीं, मेरे पास कोई मैनुअल पीओ का ऑप्शन नहीं है. All the vendors should be available on the Ariba network and all the POs should flow via the Ariba network. Right? Honda में ऐसा आपका आ गया. Tomorrow you will implement the SAP Ariba for the Coca-Cola. I'm just giving hypothetical example. So tomorrow you will implement this, like, Ariba with the Coca-Cola. So they will say, no, yaar. All the vendors, in my cases, all vendors are not available on the Ariba network. So for some vendors, we have to transmit the purchase order via AN, via Ariba network, and for a few vendors, we have to go with the manual way, जो कि आपने बताया आप जैसे करते हैं, right? So every customer will have their own flavor. Based on their flavor, we have to design the process. That is basically job of the Ariba consultant.
Okay.
Correct.
तो
अभी आप
Yes.
डिस्कस करोगे, अभी बात करोगे आप, like in terms of the P2P. तो मैंने बोला कि I'm just going to adopt buying invoicing solutions and will have the integration as well. So in terms of the integration from the process point of view, what will be the customer expectation? तो यहाँ पे अगर आप सोचोगे, so since customer they are adopting this buying and invoicing solutions to perform the P2P activity, right? So what they will do first, they will create the purchase request in the SAP Ariba. So how they will create, that's something different matter itself, like catalog item, non-catalog item, material requisition, service requisition, that is something different thing, right? But yes, they will create the purchase request. And the purchase request will route for the approval. So approval is, every customer compliance. So approval process, that something will be there. So purchase request will go for this approval. Once purchase request will be approved, so system should transmit that purchase requisition to the backend SAP system, right? And in the backend SAP system, the system should also create the purchase requisition with the reference to your Ariba purchase requisition. Okay, so Ariba system will not only transmit. This is not the only job to send. Ariba system also has to receive the confirmation, like either the requisition is created successfully or not. So if no, so the same information, like whatever the system, whatever the error that something system encountered, that error information should be available in your Ariba side. So that Ariba team will come to know, like, oh, in the backend SAP system, we have some trouble and the requisition is not created successfully. That means we have to stop in the Ariba side, right? Otherwise, what will happen, we will talk in the some time. So once the purchase requisition will be successfully created in the backend SAP system, the same confirmation information should also be available in the Ariba side. How it will available? That's something is that, like, different thing itself. Like we should have the purchase requisition number of the backend SAP system in the Ariba, right? But confirmation should be there. So now in the next, as you know, in the SAP Ariba, like when your purchase requisition is getting fully approved, system will automatically generate the purchase order. Right? We do not have any like option to create the purchase order manually in the SAP Ariba. So that means in the previous step, when your purchase requisition fully approved, my expectation was to transmit the purchase requisition to the backend SAP system. But actually, if you see from system design point of view, so the system will not only transmit the purchase requisition, system will also transmit the purchase order in the backend SAP system. Why? Because once purchase requisition will approved in the Ariba, system will automatically create the purchase order. That is the Ariba standard behavior. So that means whatever process that we expected, like information should go to backend SAP system, system should create the purchase requisition in the backend SAP system with reference to the purchase requisition, Ariba purchase requisition. Same way that system should also reflect the purchase order information from Ariba to your backend SAP system. In the backend SAP system also, the system has to create the purchase order automatically with reference to the Ariba purchase order. and same way the confirmation should land on your Ariba side. Otherwise, if you not take the confirmation, so what happens? Let's say you create, the system has created the purchase order in the Ariba side, right? And now system just only transmitted the purchase order in the backend SAP system. That's it. That is the job only be given. Like you have to only send this PO to backend SAP system. That's it. Now let's say in the backend SAP system, due to some reason, system is unable to create purchase order, and the system encounters some error. It could be any error, right? It depends on this like nature of the error. So it could be any error, system unable to create the purchase order in the backend SAP system. So in the backend SAP system, if you see, still we system has not created the purchase order, but if you see in the Ariba side, so our PO is ready, because after creation of the PO only we have transmitted to backend SAP system. So now what will happen if you not take the confirmation? So Ariba PO will be transmitted to supplier because PO is created already. So it will be like, the transmitted to supplier, and supplier will start preparing to deliver the goods, deliver the item. But in the backend SAP system, still PO is not created. So in this case, if you see, so our process, our data is not synchronized. Correct. So that means we will able to perform the P2P activity in the Ariba, but backend SAP system, the PO is still not created. That means the process is not synchronized. So no one will accept this process. That is why system also has to take the confirmation from the backend SAP system. Once the backend SAP system will confirm, like yes, we have created the purchase order, then only your PO will be communicated to the supplier. So coming to my previous question, earlier I asked you one question, like if your order is stuck in the ordering status, what you will do? So we have to investigate, like why actually it is stuck in this ordering status. So we have to investigate it at different integration touch point. We have to go on the CIG portal. We have to see the transaction tracker, like what is the status in the transaction tracker, right? And we also have to first check the purchase order information in the Ariba side. Do we have received any error information from backend SAP system? If yes, so we will able to find out the error. If not, then we have to go with the CIG portal, check the transaction tracker, check the status. If like after that, we have to go in the backend SAP system. In the backend SAP system, we have one particular like T code to investigate this type of like check the inbound information. So that is the T code basically is that SRT underscore money. So we have to open the particular T code. We have to check. Sometimes we have to download the payload as well, and we have to like then we'll able to find out the error. We will have to rectify the error, and then only might be that we have to again reprocess the purchase order from Ariba to backend SAP system again. And if then the PO will be created successfully, then only the system will transmit the PO to your supplier. So like this, the customer will have the expectation. So as the Ariba functional consultant, we have to understand the process of the customer. Accordingly, you will design the system. So when you prepare the business requirement design document, or when you prepare that your functional document, functional design document. So in that one, we have to include all this process. Like this is as is process, this will be the to be process, and accordingly we have to design the system. We have to give the input to the integration team, like it should take the confirmation as well, and if there is some error, it should capture that information as well. So like that input we have to give. Usually we do not have to give the any input to integration team because they already aware, but just for your understanding I'm saying, like then only you will be in the position to guide to your integration team, to guide your customer, to guide your backend SAP system consultant. Are you guys getting?
यस यस रोहित. सो
Yes, sir.
रोहित, ये जो पार्ट है वो मतलब ज्यादा से ज्यादा माइग्रेशन का प्रोजेक्ट रहता है, तो माइग्रेशन के प्रोजेक्ट में इंटीग्रेशन रहता है क्या? क्या नॉर्मली जब इंटीग्रेशन का प्रोजेक्ट रहता है वहां पे?
Mainly this will be the part of the implementation.
या ओके, मतलब जो कोर माइग्रेशन का प्रोजेक्ट है इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का, तो वहां पे ज्यादा से ज्यादा इंटीग्रेशन यूज होता है, राइट?
इन ऑल द केसेस यू विल हैव द इंटीग्रेशन. क्योंकि अभी देखो आपका कस्टमर तो दे आर यूजिंग बैकएंड एसएपी सिस्टम फ्रॉम वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम, सिंस वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम. कोई आपका 5 साल से यूज कर रहा है, कोई 10 years यूज कर रहा है, समवन इज यूजिंग फ्रॉम 20 years एज वेल, XYZ whatever, right? तो अभी now they are going to implement the Ariba any Ariba specific module on top of the backend SAP system. मतलब आपका backend SAP system है, उसके ऊपर लाके हमने Ariba को रख दिया. This is my Ariba product, right? But अभी in your backend SAP system you have lots of information. Might be, let's say, assume you are using your backend SAP system since from around 5 years, right? तो 5 साल का पूरा डेटा आपके सिस्टम में है in the backend SAP system. But going forward for tomorrow, you are going to use your backend SAP system. Sorry, your Ariba solution. Like let's say you are going to use buying and invoicing. तो उस केस में क्या करोगे, आपका एक्सपेक्टेशन ये रहा है कि जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन वी आर क्रिएटिंग इन द अरीबा साइड, those information should also be available in the backend SAP system side. So if I will check in the Ariba side, we should have same information. If I will check in the backend SAP system side, we should have the same information. So integration will be there in all the cases. And in most of the cases, you may see, since we are from SAP background, so in most of the cases, you will see like most of the customers, they are using on top of the SAP. So it could be SAP, could be your ECC or S/4HANA. In certain cases, you may see some other different non-SAP system, like कहीं आपको maximum, like we can take any name of the non-SAP system, like Maximo, Oracle, like PeopleSoft. So these are the different non-SAP system. So they are also using Ariba on top of that. Okay. So this is just clear, like the understanding. We should be clear on like what we have to understand, what we have to learn. अगर clarity नहीं रहेगा ना, तो सब आप समझ सकते हो कि like nothing will be clear for us. So we should have the like clarity, like yes, हमें ऐसे करना है, we should have to do like this, we have to understand like this, then only you will be in the position to investigate, to work on the any project independently. अगर थ्योरी पता होगा तो हम कुछ भी नहीं कर पाएंगे. करेक्ट.
Yes, Rohit.
अभी आपने बोला, ओके, सो आपने बोला अभी कि यू हैव द एक्सपीरियंस नॉलेज ऑफ दिस एसएलपी प्रोसेस एज वेल, लाइक सप्लायर लाइफ साइकिल एंड परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट. डू यू हैव द नॉलेज, निनाद एंड दीपक?
नहीं, सप्लायर के रिलेटेड नहीं है कुछ, सप्लायर लाइफ साइकिल का नहीं.
सोर्सिंग
नहीं है, सोर्सिंग का
नहीं है.
मतलब सोर्सिंग वर्क कैसे करता है वो पता है, लेकिन वो सोर्सिंग मतलब अरीबा पे कैसे एक्चुअल वर्क, जो प्रैक्टिकल वर्क है वो पता नहीं है सोर्सिंग का. अरीबा
प्रैक्टिकल वर्क.
ओके. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट,
हाँ, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का भी कुछ पता नहीं है.
हाँ, अपस्ट्रीम का तो कुछ भी नहीं है, डाउनस्ट्रीम में सिर्फ प्रोक्योरमेंट का था, मतलब वो उसमें का प्रोक्योरमेंट का ही P2P का हमें पता था, मतलब पता है एक्चुअली.
राइट. आप काम ही कर रहे पता रहेगा. ठीक है, ठीक है. मैंने जैसे ऐसे ही पूछा, तो आई थिंक इसमें से लाइक जस्ट इनपुट, तो यू शुड गो लाइक फॉर लाइक इंटायर लाइक अपस्ट्रीम डाउनस्ट्रीम पार्ट. आप लोगों ने अननेसेसरी चूज किया ओनली स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक. ठीक है, समटाइम्स यस वी हैव द कॉस्ट सेविंग, बिकॉज ये कॉस्ट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वो आपके लिए मेरे लिए होता है, जहाँ मुझे कहीं इन कॉस्ट को इनकर करना होता है. सो आई एम आल्सो थिंकिंग ट्वाइस, इवन दो दैट कॉस्ट इज 2 रुपीज और दैट कॉस्ट इज 2 lakhs. राइट, वो तो हमारा नेचर है, वी आर द बायर. तो फिर भी कभी कभी क्या होता है ना कि whenever we are incurring some cost, like if you are spending like let's say 10 rupees, right? तो वहां पे अगर मुझे 12 भी होता है ना, तो उसमें प्रॉब्लम नहीं होना चाहिए, बट we should get some benefit. तो हमें उस वे से लेके चलना चाहिए. Anyway, so वो सब कुछ डिफरेंट थिंग है. So I think we have to jump in our course structure. काफी बातें हो गई आज हमारी. ठीक है, तो पहले हम स्टार्ट करते हैं कॉन्फ़िगरेशन पार्ट से, एंड देन विल मूव टू द लाइक दैट फर्स्ट विल टॉक अबाउट द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, देन विल टॉक अबाउट द कोर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, एंड इन लास्ट विल टॉक अबाउट द इंटीग्रेशन पार्ट. इज इट फाइन?
ओके. सो रोहित, हाँ, एक क्वेश्चन था एक्चुअली, मतलब ये कुछ भी कोर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, नहीं तो कॉन्फ़िगरेशन का पार्ट, और ये जो इंटीग्रेशन का पार्ट है ना, तो ये जैसे कि एक्चुअल वर्किंग में जहाँ पे होता है प्रैक्टिकली, तो वहाँ पे टिकट्स के अकॉर्डिंग वर्क होता है क्या, कैसे होता है? जो रिक्वायरमेंट है वो टिकट्स के अकॉर्डिंग आती है क्या, कैसे? जैसे कि हमें ना केस के अकॉर्डिंग आती थी रिक्वायरमेंट PR के, तो वो केस के हिसाब से हम, जैसे कि टेक्निकल अरीबा का है तो वो केस आता था हमें, तो केस के अकॉर्डिंग वो केस पे हम इन्वेस्टिगेट करते थे कि वो कौन सा एरर है एक्चुअली. तो ASN है क्या कौन सा है, तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम उस पे एक्शन लेते थे। तो ये अगर जो भी इंटीग्रेशन का पार्ट है, कस्टमाइजेशन का पार्ट है, उसका रिक्वायरमेंट कैसे आता है, टिकट्स के अकॉर्डिंग आता है क्या, कौन से टाइप का?
Got it. Got it. So before that, let me ask you one other basic question.
ओके।
Do guys have any knowledge about the different kind of project?
नो नो नो, मतलब प्रोजेक्ट
अरीबा के
जैसे
पॉइंट
कि
ऑफ व्यू से नहीं।
इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का प्रोजेक्ट के रिगार्डिंग नॉलेज नहीं है।
हम्म।
नॉर्मल
जैसे क्या
सपोर्ट
होता है,
प्रोजेक्ट है।
ओके, तो जैसे क्या
अभी
होता है कि
हाँ रोहित, अभी क्या हो रहा है, मैं जहाँ एस्केप में हूँ ना, अभी उनका बस अरीबा है, तो अभी उनका जो है, अभी उनका जो प्रोजेक्ट पे काम चल रहा है वो अरीबा गाइडेड बैंक प्रोजेक्ट पे काम कर रहा है, चल रहा है। तो उसका जो डिटेल्स है, जो टेम्पलेट है अरीबा गाइडेड बैंक का टेम्पलेट, वो मुझे फिल करना है, कौन से टाइल्स में कौन सी टाइल्स आएगी। तो प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में ज्यादा कुछ मालूम नहीं है, लेकिन एक मतलब एक आइडिया आ गया है कि प्रोजेक्ट कैसा होता है, मतलब जो बैकएंड से है एसएपी कंसल्टेंट, वो हमें गाइड करते हैं क्या फिल करना है, कैसे फिल करना है। तो ऐसे चल रहा है।
got it. ठीक है। So from project perspective, like we have the different kind of project. So mainly from the Ariba point of view, अगर आप देखोगे ना, so we'll have the 3 project. One is basically your implementation. उसको आप बोल सकते हो greenfield as well. तो पहला आपका implementation हो गया. Second is your support project. And third is your, like we can say, rollout or migration तो नहीं बोल सकते, rollout project बोल सकते हैं. We have the rollout project. तो अभी अभी जो बात कर रहे हो ना टिकट बेसिस, सो अभी टिकट का बेसिस जो भी होता है ना, ऑल दैट एक्टिविटी वी हैव टू डू बेस्ड ऑन द टिकट ओनली इन द सपोर्ट। तो जब कभी आप सपोर्ट में काम करोगे ना, सो इन द सपोर्ट विल रिसीव द रिक्वायरमेंट और इश्यूज बेस्ड ऑन द टिकट। क्यों? क्योंकि in our SLA, in our SOW, we'll have like some discussion with the customer, like in support ticket, how many tickets they are generally reaching, or what is the average like number of ticket, how much we are getting, and हमको भी अपना आउटपुट दिखाना होता है ना, like since you are working in the project, आपको बताना पड़ता होगा ना कि what I'm doing for the my next 8 hours, what I did in my previous days, right? वो सब हमें भी justify करना होता है। So
Yes,
that is why we have to like always work on the ticket. तो कभी कभी क्या होता है कि सब usually we are getting that like that issues like via the ticket itself. So every customer have their different process to creating the ticket. But sometime क्या होता है कि अभी suppose let's say in your project you have that some L1 support team. So L1 support team basically they are just like basic team. Basic team basically, basic means they will just communicate the information from customer to like that a support team level. They will create the ticket, they will manage the ticket information. So जो भी होता है वो सारे वो लोग करते हैं। ओके, तो सपोज अभी आपके यहाँ पॉलिसी क्या है कि whenever customer will have any kind of query, either it could be issue, it could be your question, it could be viva analysis, whatever. So they will drop the email to the L1 support team. L1 support team will create the ticket and they will assign to the relevant department or relevant team. So suppose अभी वो अरीबा के लिए अरीबा के पास जाएगा, अभी वो बैकएंड सिस्टम का है तो बैकएंड सिस्टम वाले के पास जाएगा। दैट इज देयर जॉब, करेक्ट। तो उसमें क्या होता है कि so in that case we always have to work on the ticket, but sometimes कभी कभी क्या होता है कि some of the users they are dropping the email directly to you by asking some question, by asking some help as well. तो उस केस में क्या करते हैं कि उस केस में भी हम लोग ऐसा नहीं करते हैं कि we are just directly helping the client, so our customer. So उस केस में क्या करते हैं, if they have not created the ticket, so we are asking our L1 support team, और जो भी आपके यहाँ जो भी टूल्स है, जैसा भी आपका प्रोसेस है, accordingly we are first creating the ticket, then we are starting working on that particular ticket. जो भी आपका टिकट का मैटर है ना, वो सारा कुछ आपका सपोर्ट में आता है। So that means you are working in the support project.
yes, yes,
Clear?
यस।
ठीक है। Okay, any further question?
नहीं मतलब यही जानना था कि जैसे कि हमें इतना अ, अभी नॉलेज नहीं है इन डीप का, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का तो है ही नहीं, और जो सपोर्ट लेवल का है उतना एक्चुअल में प्रोसेस क्या है, क्या ये भी प्रोक्योरमेंट मॉडल का है, बट रेदर देन दिस कुछ नहीं था ज़्यादा। तो वही आपको तो पता ही चला रहेगा अभी हमसे बात करने के बाद में, तो वही है अभी कर लेंगे।
Sure, sir. Not
हाँ
worry. ठीक है, okay.
तो रोहित
So in
पहले
the
ये
mean,
कोर, यस 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 यस
हाँ जो
रोहित,
बोलो आप, core administration or integration, whatever you would like to do, we can try.
या कोर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और ये कस्टमाइजेशन का जो पार्ट है वो हमें अच्छे से पहले मतलब समझ आएगा ऐसे मुझे लग रहा है, उसके बाद में हम अगर इंटीग्रेशन पे गए तो अच्छा ही रहेगा ऐसे ये टाइप का, करेक्ट दीपक?
Right, correct.
यस मैम।
हाँ ओके ठीक है।
तो अभी क्या पहले हम कौन से स्टार्ट करें, कोर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और ओनली एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन?
तो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से स्टार्ट करेंगे, फिर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के बाद फिर कोर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, जैसे अब आपको जैसे लगता है वैसे। मेरे को तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन समझ में आने के बाद कोर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और अच्छे से समझ में आएगा।
हाँ
राइट, ठीक है, ठीक है। Okay, so basically, as you know, like in SAP Ariba, the SAP Ariba solutions are divided in the two parts. One part is upstream, second part is the downstream, right? So upstream and downstream is not the your specific or any module. So even though we are calling as the upstream or downstream, but if you see, this is not a particular module. These are the bundle of the solutions. So in upstream, we have some different solutions, different module. In downstream, we have some different module. So in upstream, basically, as you know, we have three modules like SLP, or we can say supplier, sourcing, and contract. These three modules are available as a part of the upstream. And if you see in the downstream, so we have the two modules. One is the P2P, that is called as the Ariba buying and invoicing. Second is the catalog. So for upstream, SAP Ariba, they have given that particular configuration area. For downstream, they have given that separate configuration area. So if you talk about the administration, so administration is mainly only applicable to perform your upstream configuration. So whatever configuration we required as part of the upstream, so all this configuration we will able to do in this, like with the help of the administration. And if you have to do some, like the downstream specific configuration, so those activity basically we have to do with the help of the core administration. So that is why Ariba has given these two, like different path to perform the configuration. One we can do in the upstream, second you can do in the downstream. So it is not essential that every customer will have the entire package, the entire solutions, like we can say like upstream, downstream both. If customer have that upstream, downstream both, in that case you may see like in the manage menu, you will have both the option like your administration and the core administration as well, right? But in certain cases, if customer they have only one specific module license, like let's say the customer they have only contract module license, just a hypothetical example. So in that case, since customer have only the upstream part, that means they have only contract module. So in that case, you may not be able to find out this core administration part. You only can see the administration part. Or if your customer they have only buying and invoicing, apart from this, they do not have the other module license. So in that case, you may only see this core administration, not the administration. So whenever you will land on the particular configuration, since we are going to talk first about the administration, so whenever you will land on this particular configuration, so we can see we have the different set of configuration here, like site manager, integration manager, master data manager, supplier manager, customization manager, project manager, event manager, SM manager. Like that, we have the different configuration options are available. So all this configuration is not relevant to only with you with us. So whatever that that typical particular configuration is applicable with our system, our solutions. We will talk about those configuration. For example, we will talk about site manager. We will talk about integration manager. We will talk master data manager, supplier manager, customization manager, user manager, intelligent configuration manager. We'll talk about nothing we have to do in this intelligent configuration manager, but yes, we'll talk about project manager. We'll talk about the commodity code manager. So these are basically relevant to us. So if you talk about the other, like spendability, visibility, dashboard, product sourcing, network account, enrichment manager, SM manager, or this commodity code mobile app, these are something that different thing. So whatever configuration is relevant to us, we will talk about that part. and in this administration and in the core administration as well. But before going to talk about the any of this, before starting this configuration part, so if you see, these are the different like options are available here, like manager, manager, manager. These are the particular roles, particular authorization. So if you have that like that full like core like that administration authorization, in that case you may see all the different configuration in your system. But in certain cases, if you have some limited configuration, like let's say we assigned only that catalog manager access to you, so in that case you will not be able to see all this configuration, you only able to see this catalog manager configuration, that sorry commodity code manager configuration here, that's it. So these are the specific role. So in the real time, sometimes the business user, if they are authorized to perform some specific set of the configuration, which they can basically do from the customer perspective. So we are assigning a particular role to them. Okay. So that is why we can see the different manager options are available. That means these are the specific roles. And even if you see some of the configuration like site manager, integration, master, customization, user, like that. So we can see with different configuration in this administration. But if you go to core administration, so we can see we have the core administration link here. If you click on the core administration, okay, let me log in. Okay, so now basically if you come downside, we can see earlier we were on the administration part, now we are on this core administration part. So now if you see here in this core administration, so we can see some of the configuration are same here. So we can see here also we have site manager, integration, master data, user, customization, customization manager. So like that, some set of the configuration are also available in the downstream configuration. So why we have this repetitive configuration? Why we have the same configuration available in this upstream? Why we have the same configuration available in the downstream? What is the reason? So reason is that since in your case you have the license of the upstream and downstream, that is why you are saying this is repetitive. But let's say there is one customer and the customer they only subscribe the upstream solution, not the downstream solutions. So in that case, those configuration will not be repetitive for them. That means all the configuration is relevant to the each and specific solutions. So if you have to the upstream license, you require that like different information to run your like the cycle in that upstream part as well, like for contract, for sourcing. So for those also we have to perform some set of configuration which we can do from this administration part. And if your customer they have only downstream license, so in that case definitely they have to perform some set of configuration in the downstream part. So that is why the same set of configuration is also available in the downstream part. Okay. So
Okay.
this is just only for like understanding purpose. Like so, whatever like we will talk about first administration part, and whatever the different like whatever the configuration that will be repetitive here, that's something we'll not discuss. Yes, of course, if we have some changes, that's something we'll talk. Otherwise, like if what like whatever duplicate configuration is available, that's something we'll not discuss. Okay.
हाँ, तो ये रोहित लिख ले क्या, मतलब अगर कुछ स्टेप्स आप बताने वाले हैं तो उस टाइम में हम नोट डाउन भी कर ले क्या, हमारे पास क्या कुछ जो ऑलरेडी आपने जो लिंक शेयर किया है उसमें है सब?
हाँ, जो मैं आपको लिंक भेजा है ना, लिस्ट ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट, दैट इज बेसिकली फ्रॉम प्रोसेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, आपको उसमें प्रोसेस की अंडरस्टैंडिंग मिल जाएगी, राइट?
ओके
बट उसमें कॉन्फ़िगरेशन का पार्ट थोड़ा बहुत है, अधिक नहीं है, बिकॉज़ दोज आर द बेसिकली जस्ट लाइक दैट प्रोसेस बुक्स। तो कॉन्फ़िगरेशन तो आपको बेसिकली आपको रियल टाइम में करना पड़ेगा। सो इफ यू वांट टू मेक द
तो ये
नोट्स,
पार्ट है वो नोट डाउन कर ले क्या हम यहाँ पे बुक में जो भी आप अभी? हाँ,
ऐसा कोई नेसेसरी नहीं है। यू विल हैव जस्ट अ रिकॉर्डिंग एज वेल। तो आप उसको बाद में गो थ्रू भी कर सकते हो।
ओके ओके, ठीक है, चलेगा, वही।
ठीक है ना?
ठीक है, तो और एक क्वेश्चन था मेरा, ये जो आप अभी अपस्ट्रीम और डाउनस्ट्रीम का अपना चल रहा था, जैसे कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का पार्ट अपस्ट्रीम में आता है, कोर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का डाउनस्ट्रीम में, तो जैसे कि हमारा जॉनसन एंड जॉनसन क्लाइंट है, ठीक है, तो जॉनसन एंड जॉनसन में जो भी एंड यूजर है, उसको कुछ तो रिक्वायरमेंट है, वहां पे सिर्फ अपस्ट्रीम वाला सॉल्यूशन इम्प्लीमेंट किया है उन्होंने, उनके लिए उतना ही एक्सेस है, और उनका कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट है अपस्ट्रीम में अगर चेंजेस करना है, तो वो रिक्वायरमेंट हमें बता देंगे, मतलब हमारा जो भी टीम है उनको बताने के बाद में हम वो यहाँ पे कॉन्फ़िगर करेंगे। तो
करेक्ट।
ये टाइप का हो जाएगा ना वो?
करेक्ट, बट
ओके
ऑल्सो दैट शुड बी फिजिबल। अभी उनका क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है? If that requirement will able to achieve via this customization, via this configuration, then will do. Otherwise लगता है कि नहीं, उनका requirement that something is not like that basically we will not be able to achieve with this configuration. So in that case, we have to reach out, we have to think something like different level. So
ओके ओके।
one thing remember, अभी SAP Ariba में क्या है? SAP Ariba is the cloud solution. So in SAP Ariba, we will not have the database access. सो डीबी एक्सेस आपको एसएपी अरीबा में नहीं रहेगा, नहीं होगा।
ओके
सो अरीबा इज नॉट गिवन दिस फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी टू कस्टमर, they are not providing DB access to the customers or the implementation partner. Okay, so
ओके
whenever you have to do any kind of customization which will make impact on your DB, impact mean DB means like let's say आपको कोई कोड राइट करना है, कस्टमर ने बोला कोई फील्ड आपको ऐड करना है ऑन दिस लाइक लेट्स से पीआर स्क्रीन पे या सोर्सिंग स्क्रीन पे, उसने बोला कोई फील्ड ऐड करना है, राइट? सो उस टाइप का जो भी कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है जहाँ पे हमें डेटाबेस लेवल को टच करना पड़ेगा, सो वी ऑलवेज हैव टू रीच आउट टू द अरीबा शेयर्ड सर्विस टीम, दे विल डू।
ओके
उनके पास दे हैव द लाइक द ग्रुप ऑफ लाइक उनका काफी बहुत बड़ा उनका टीम है। सो दे हैव द डिफरेंट डिफरेंट जावा कोडर्स, जावा डेवलपर, सो बेसिकली दिस इज जावा बेस्ड एसएपी अरीबा। तो सारे चेंजेस, इन्हांसमेंट और कस्टमाइजेशन हम लोग करते हैं। सो वी कैन ओनली डू द कॉन्फ़िगरेशन एट द फ्रंट एंड साइड, दैट्स इट।
ओके ओके। ओके, तो उनका जो टेक्निकल कंसल्टेंट रहेगा तो उसको ज्यादा एक्सेस रहते हैं, क्योंकि वो अरीबा के साइड से रहते हैं, उनके ऑन रोल पे रहते हैं अरीबा के, तो
हाँ,
उसको ज्यादा एक्सेस रहता है, और वो टेक्निकल कंसल्टेंट रहता है, इसलिए उसको कोडिंग ये वो जावा लैंग्वेज ये सब कुछ आता रहता है।
करेक्ट, करेक्ट।
हाँ, ओके।
ठीक है, तो एक काम करते हैं, जस्ट लेट्स टेक वन क्विक ब्रेक फॉर द 10 मिनट्स। तो हम लोग मिलते हैं 11:10 पे, एंड देन वी विल स्टार्ट दिस लाइक द कॉन्फ़िगरेशन।
ओके
यस
ओके,
यस।
यस यस,
ओके।
श्योर। ओके
ठीक है, मिलते हैं 10:10 पे।
ओके।
थैंक यू। Hi, Deepak. Deepak, can you hear me? Hello, Deepak, are you there? Hello, Deepak, are you there?
yes रोहित हाँ
Okay, ठीक है. So let's start now. Okay. So the first configuration is like in this administration part is that site manager. So inside the site manager, that first option is that data import and export activity. So this activity basically is a very important. So what basically we can do? So as you know, in the SAP Ariba, we do not have any option to create the master data. That means master data we will not be able to, we cannot create in the SAP Ariba. So we have the dependency, or we will have the dependency to the backend SAP system for all the different kind of master data except supplier part. So why basically except supplier part? Because supplier is like we have that SLP solutions for the supplier, and we can directly create the supplier in the SAP Ariba. That is why supplier part will not come in the in this like that data import and export. Even though if you want to perform import export activity for supplier, that's something also we can do. We'll talk about that part as well. But normally like that except supplier, whatever different kind of master data that we required, that we can import in the SAP Ariba with the help of the data import and export activity. So when you basically land on this data import and export part, we can see system will give you this screen. And in this screen, we can see we have three tabs here. One is import tab, second is export, and third one is the web service status. So web service status basically we have to ignore that something is not applicable, but we have to talk about import and export. So if you see here in this import and export, so why Ariba has given this import and export tab, that also we'll discuss. So if you see here, so we have the different kind of task. So different kind of task in the sense we can say in other words different kind of import file. So whatever different kind of information that basically we have to create, we can create with the help of this import part. So for example, you can see import address CIG file, import business contact, import commodity code mapping, import commodity codes, country specific bank control key, and like import departments, import enterprise users, import group and user relationship. So like that, we have that many more tasks are available here, which basically we have to use whenever we have to create any kind of specific data here. So whatever that information you have to create, that's something we have to basically create with the help of this import task. So Ariba is offering the two different kind of tasks to the customer. One task will be basically automatic, and second task will be the manual task. So what is basically automatic task means? Automatic task means like as I said earlier, for the master data, like we will have the dependency on the backend SAP system, and from the backend SAP system, we have to feed the different kind of master data in the SAP Ariba. So Ariba has given the Ariba specific program like ARB CIG underscore master data export program. So with the help of that program, we will able to push the master data from the backend SAP system to the SAP Ariba automatically. We'll talk about that master data program during our integration session, but just here, just only for information purpose. So whatever different other whatever that option are available in the master data program, so those information we can push in the SAP Ariba automatically. And apart from that, if we require to create other master data or other different kind of data, that's something we have to create with the help of this import task. So for example, let's assume I'm just taking this example of this import department. So this is very simple basically. So let's assume that we have to create the list of department in the SAP Ariba. So if you see in the backend SAP system, so this kind of information we will not be able to automate. So whenever we have to create any kind of import, a department information in the SAP Ariba, we always have to come in this import, the tab, and we have to basically import it manually, right? So this activity we can do directly in the system itself. We do not have any flexibility to push this kind of information from the backend SAP system automatically. Okay, but now here we have the two cases. Before that, I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now in this case, we have the two scenarios. One scenario, we have to do this import activity in the existing system. That means, let's say, we can take your example. You are working in the support project, and in the support project, the customer has requested to update some list of department. So whatever department, the file or information they have created earlier, and they just added some other department. Like we can take the very good example of this COVID, right? So you can you know very well from last year that we are suffering from the COVID, and every customer, every client, they have build a team for the COVID help. So those team basically will guide and will help for the any issue in the COVID, right? So let's assume that in that case, like a customer has requested you to create one new department, that is COVID help department in the SAP Ariba. So in that case, like whenever we have to perform this activity in the any of the existing system, so we have to basically first we have to collect the information from the customer, like what exactly information they would like to have in the Ariba side. Once you will have the information ready, we have to come in the site manager, like administration, site manager, data import and export, and we have to select the particular task. So since in our case we are going to talk about the department part, so we have to come here and we have to search the particular department task here. So we can see we have the department task here. So searching of this particular task, like we can search in the two way. One way is that you can directly come here in the data import and export, and you have to find out this task manually. This is the one way. Second way is that if you have the information about the particular the task, you can just put the task name here and click on the search. So once you click on the search, the system will display the relevant task, like whatever task is available in this data import and export. So here we can see now system is only showing this import department task, right? But since in this case, we'll talk about both the scenarios, but in this case, we are going to perform this activity in that existing system. Existing system means like we can say we have to work in this support project. This system is already gone live and business are using this system. So in this case, like in the existing system, whenever we have to perform this import activity, so as I said, we have to collect the information from customer, then we have to come in this data import and export, and we have to perform this activity. But first thing we are taking care, like after collecting the information, the second thing we have to check about the template. Like what will the template, which template we have to use? We are not aware like which template we have to use or how we have to put the information in the template. That's something information we do not have. So as the Ariba consultant, we first would like to check about the template. So in the any of the existing system, how we can find out the template? So if you come here and if you want to find out the template for this particular task, like for this import department, so we have to basically go in this export tab, and from the export tab, we have to click on the export. So when you basically click on the export, what system will do? System will basically export the existing information in that particular template. So that means with the help of this export, we can get the particular template. Okay, so if you come here and click on the export, so when you click on the export, the system will give you this pop-up and we have to click on the OK. system will download this particular the import task file in this CIG format, and basically we can say we will have the particular template. Like we can see here, we have the particular template here, right? So once you come here, we can see this is the basically file that something system has downloaded, right? This is our template. So in this one we can see we have the different department, the information are available. So whatever information, that's something we what based on the requirement, whatever customer has requested, either create or update or delete, whatever, that's something activity we will able to do we with the help of this template. So let's assume this time we are going to check about that creation part. So since we have to create one department, so what we'll do, we have to come downside and we have to create the particular department. But if you see this particular template, so we have the different information in the template. Like we can see we have 3 columns: department ID, description, and the parent ID. So basically parent department. So parent department, basically that's something is that optional since we have exported. That is why this information is available here. Generally we do not have to specify any information in the parent departments, and we always have to keep this field as a blank, right? So with the help of this, now we can find out the template, and here you can see we have the information are readily available. So that means like this only we have to specify the information. So let's assume the customer, they have requested to just create one new department. So to create one new department, what basically we have to do, we have to specify the information in the same way. So how we can specify? So let's say I'm going to add one entry here. We have to copy, paste here. Now whatever the department ID you want to give, you can give. Like let's say I'm going to give as at 960, just an example. And for this department name, I'm going to give, let's assume that LLC, because we have the very higher list. So if you will check about the particular department, so I'm pretty sure this department will already be available. Like if you see production, HR, marketing, those will already be available. So just only for the demonstration purpose, I'm just adding here as a LLC. And in this parent department, I'm just leaving this field as a blank. I will keep only department ID and the department name. That's it, right? So now basically what we have to do, let me also just check this department as well, either it is already exist or not. So if it will be exist, definitely in that case system will give the error. So just for that the confirmation, I'm just checking either this entry is already exist or not. So let me just click on this next. We can see even though we are hitting this next, but system is keeping our cursor on this row 175. That means we do not have any new entries. We have only this entry which we have added, right? So in the next, what we have to do, so once like this, once you prepare your file, we have to click on the save. And once you click on the save, then again we have to come here in this our Ariba system. Now this time we have to go in the import tab, and from the import tab we have to click on this import here. So if you click on the import, the system will ask you to assign the particular file. But before assigning the file, if you see here, so Ariba is offering the 4 different kind of load operation to the customer. So based on the requirement, like whatever operation is required for the customer can choose the particular operation. So we can see we have the 4 options here: load, create, update only, and deactivate. So deactivate means we can say delete. So whatever operation is relevant to customer, they have to basically choose. So what is basically the load operation? So load operation means, like let's assume, for example, customer has requested you to create one new department, that is LLC department in the system, and they have also requested you like to update some of the description of the existing department. Like let's say earlier we have the production department, but now due to some reason, due to some organization changes, we just modified the description of the department, that production department, and we have to we have some updated information in the production department. So let's assume earlier we had the PR like a production department, as the name of the department as a production department. But now customer has also requested you to modify the name of the production department. So instead of the production department, we have instead of the production, they are expecting to only CPRD. Just an example. So in this case, if you see the customer requirement, so customer is asking you to perform the two activities, right? One activity they are expecting that you have to create. Second activity they are expecting to update as well. So you have to create one new department as LLC, and in second they are expecting to have that you have to update the existing entries from the as the PRD instead of the production, right? So since we have to perform the two activities here, so if you want to do it separately, you can do. So if you want to first modify, update the existing information, you can do the update. Or if you want to create the first LLC entry, you can create the LLC entry first, then you can update. So it's up to you how you would like to perform. So for that only, Ariba has given the different import operation. So load, basically load operation is offering the flexibility to customer. If you want to create and update activity at the same time, you have to go with the load operation. That means in a same file, if you want to create, if you want to perform the creation activity and updation activity at the same time, you have to go with this load operation. So if you select the load operation, system will create the information as well as it will also update the information in the system itself. Okay. Second is basically the create operation. So if you want to only create, so in our cases, since we have to only create, so in that case, if you want to only create, then we have to go with the create operation. Update only, just only for the update. So if you select the update only, in that case, system will only update. It will not create any of this new entry in the system. Deactivate means deletion. So if you want to delete any of the entries, so we have to the select the deactivate operation here, then system will delete the particular entries from the system. So based on our choice, we can select any of the import operation here. So I'm just selecting here as the load. So load operation will do, and in the next we have to choose the particular file. So if you come here in the choose file, and whatever file that basically we prepared, that file we have to choose here. And once you choose, so we can see that system assigned that particular file. Now we have to click on the run. So once you click on the run, the system will start the reading of the information in the system, and based on that your expectation, like either you have selected as the load or create or update, system will perform that particular task. So since we have selected as a load and we would like to create, so that means that system should create. So as of now we can see, so let me just click on the refresh status. Now we can see. So once we click on the refresh status, the system will update the status of the file information, and you will able to see the date and time start as well. So now we can see at today's date on this time, it is showing as that your activity is completed. So whenever the system will complete this activity, import activity successfully, it will give the status as the completed. But in certain cases, what happen while importing any of the particular information in the system, and so sometimes if system will encounter any particular error, any error. So in that case, it will give the status as the error also. So like here, for example, we can see here, like importing address, right? So you can see here we have the completed status, right? But we can see we have some additional mark here, additional symbol here. But same way, if you see region local, so here also we can see we have completed, but here we cannot see any of that additional symbol here. So that means whenever while importing your file based on your choice, when system will start reading that particular file, and if system encountered any error, so what it will do, in which entries the system has encountered that error. So for those entries, the system will not do any activity either load, create or delete. It will raise the exception to you, and we have to basically debug that exception, and we have to rectify the exception, and again we have to perform the same activity if applicable, right? So how basically we can debug the particular information? So to debug the information, we have to click on this particular status. So if you click on the status here, so this time we can see we system is showing here three tabs. One is the details tab, error details tab, and the third one is the history tab. But same way, if you go to back, and let's say I'm just hitting this completed status. This is also the status is completed, right? But if you hit this status this here, so we can see we have only two tabs. One is the details and second is the history tab. That means whenever system will encounter any error during importing of the information, so system will add the error tab there. Otherwise, if system has not encountered any error, it will not display any error tab here. That means that our activity is successfully completed. Right. So now basically to debug, to investigate the error, we have to click on that, like, that particular task status. So since this is our status, just an example. And if you click here, so we can see we have the, like, that proper information is available in this screen. So in the details, we can see like what activity we did, how, like when we did, and how many records created, how many records is updated, how many records deleted, how many records exported. All the information will be available here. Not only this one, since in our cases we have some error as well. So to find out the error, we have to click on the error details, and here system will give the information about the errors as well, like what different type of error the system has encountered. So like here we can see we have the information as item ID. That's something we have, basically this is called as a row number. Severity, that means error, and this is your error information, like a value in the unique name column is either empty or null. It must match a value in the null column of the null file in the sample data, for example US001. So that means the system has raised some exception, some error. That error information is available here. So based on this error information, we have to rectify our files and we have to import in the system again. Okay, so like this, like, we can import that, like, that any of the information in the system, even though I shown you only for this import department task, but for any of the other different kind of tasks, so you want to perform, you can perform in the same way. And here I will recommend to do lots of hands-on. These are the area where we require the hands-on. So for example, why I'm saying hands-on? Because whatever process we see to import the department, same process we have to follow for other, like, that like task as well. So for example, let's say I'm going to import this time. Let me take any of that. Let's say enterprise users, just an example. So if you have to perform the import activity for the enterprise users, so we have to follow same approach. We have to go in the export tab, and from the export tab, we have to find out the particular, like, the task. And to get the template, we have to first click on this export. Once you click on the export, system will download the particular, like, the template in your system, and we have to basically open the template, and whatever new information you would like to specify, that's something we will able to specify in the system itself. So like here we can see now this file is imported, and now if you open this particular file like this one, we can see the template is readily available. And same way, whatever new entries or whatever the existing entries you want to create or update, that's something we can do in the same manner, right? So that is why I was saying, like, it requires, like, lots of hands-on. So you should be do the hands-on on the system for this data import and export. Okay, so now what basically we did, so we have successfully imported that list of department in the system. Okay, so before going to next, is there any question from anyone?
No, Rohit.
No, Rohit.
All right, so now we have done the import activity, but this is not the only our job. We also have to make sure the information is available, or we have to make sure information should be available in the system. So that means I'm talking about the verification. So if you only perform this activity, like if you only do this, like, that import activity, that's it. No, we have to make sure the information should also be available in the system. So in general, we can say we have to verify the information, either the information is available in the system or not. So how we can verify the information? So as we know very well, Ariba has not given the database access, so we cannot check a database label like how we are doing, how we are checking in the backend SAP system. So how we can verify the information in this Ariba system? So we can verify with the help of, we have basically two ways to verify the information. One way is that you can come in the export tab, and from export tab, again, you have to export this particular file. And this time, basically, if you export, so if that new entry, whatever you created earlier, if that entries are available, in that case, you can say, yes, our data is correctly imported in the system. So this is the one way. Second way is that at the transaction level. So for transaction level, like all that particular information is not relevant, that will not be able to that verify at transaction level. But wherever it possible, we have to verify. We can verify at the transaction level. So for example, let's say I'm going to in the create menu and I'm trying to create one contract. Right. So if you come in the contract and here we should have the department field. We can see we have department field is available here. Right. So to verify our entry, we have to come in the departments field and now click on this drop down, click on the search mode. And here we can see our entry is available here as the LLC 960. Right. So based on this, we can say, yes, our information is correctly available. That means our job is done now. Okay. So like this, we have to perform this import activity. So please do hands-on, try to export and import different files. So just only for understanding purpose, so that you will able to perform this activity in very quick manner. Okay, so now this activity, like whatever we did, this activity basically we did in the existing system where template or information is already available. We just exported the template, we added our information, and we just imported in the system. That's it. So in the existing system, it's very easy. But let's assume we have to do this activity in the during implementation project. So in that case, how we'll do? Because during implementation, you are going to implement the SAP Ariba solutions from the scratch to the customer, and whatever system that we received from the Ariba, so those systems are completely empty. So in that case, you will not be able to find out any particular task. You will not be able to see any particular information because those information basically, the system is new and we have not created any entries before. So this is completely new and blank system. So how we can do in that case? So in that case, to perform this activity, Ariba has given the different option. Let me quickly show you that part as well. Give me just one moment.
Okay.
Just 1 second. So for that, Ariba has given this document to customer. This is called as the enablement workbook. So this enablement workbook basically we have to use at initial level, like during implementation of the project, and it is a kind of the requirement gathering workbook as well. So it's not exactly, but it is a kind of requirement gathering workbook also. Okay, so basically while during implementation, we'll talk about the implementation project, that cycle as well, like how the implementation is going on. So during implementation, the Ariba team will also be available with us for our support and to perform some set of the configuration. So during implementation, they are also providing some list of that, the required document, like which document we have to prepare in that particular implementation project. So they will provide this particular document to you. And we have to basically use this document to collect some information and to find out the particular template as well. So this document basically is called as the enablement workbook. And here you can see we have the different tabs here. different sheets here, like instruction sheet, becoming a DSC, worksheet description, regions, department, commodity code. So like that, we have the different sheets are available in this particular file. So first basically is the instruction sheet. So this is something only for our understanding purpose. We have to only read this information and we have to understand like what is this file, what activity we have to do with this file. That's something information we can get it we can get from this instruction sheet. Okay, next one is the becoming a DSC. This is a little bit important and we should know. So do you guys aware about the Ariba Connect?
Sorry, Rohit.
No, Rohit.
What is Ariba Connect?
No, Rohit.
No, Rohit.
Okay. So normally SAP Ariba Connect is a kind of, we can say it's a portal itself and it's a kind of community. So from Ariba specific, if you have any question, any doubt, or if you want to find out any particular document, so we have the only one option to go with the Ariba Connect. So like how usually if you are getting some error in the backend SAP system, right? So we are searching on the Google. So when you type that that error information or any SAP particular SAP information on the Google, system will display the different search result, and we will have the scn.sap.com, that is basically the community, and definitely we'll have the lots of information that will be available here. So same way for the SAP Ariba as well. SAP Ariba, they have given the Ariba Connect for, so for Ariba relevant information, either you want to check any error information, you would like to see any particular document, you have to create any service request, you have to create any enhancement request to the for the customer. We can only do with the help of the Ariba Connect. Okay, so SAP Ariba basically they are offering the two different kind of user access to the customer like of the Ariba Connect. So one access is called as a basic access, and second access is called as a designated support contact access, or in general we can say developer access. Developer means it does not means he will able to customize or do any changes, any development, but developer means they will have the DSC user access on the Ariba Connect, and they can perform some certain of that additional activity as compared to this the basic access. So basically basic access basically you will have with the help of the basic access, you can just search any of the information, you can find out any document, you can the create any you can just refer for any errors or any other information. So those activity we can do with the help of the basic user access on the Ariba Connect. But DSC user basically DSC access, they will have the capability to perform the basic activity, as well as they can also create that, they can also raise the service request and the enhancement request on the Ariba Connect itself. So what is happening whenever the implementation is going on with the customer, so we have to define a particular person who will have the DSC user access. So DSC user basically that they will have the developer access, and whenever we need to communicate any information to that Ariba team, so we have to go on the Ariba Connect and log in with this DSC user ID, and we will able to get in touch with the Ariba team. We can create enhancement request, we can create that any of this custom request, those activity basically we can do on the Ariba Connect with the help of the DSC user access. Okay, so like that we have the different sheets are available here. So for this, if you go to worksheet description, so here this is also very important. So in this worksheet description, they have given the clear information about the different sheets whatever available in this particular file, and they have also given the information for which solution is relevant and how to upload it, whatever the permission we required, where we have to load it, and some additional information about the particular activities. So for example, here we can see department sheets. So here we can see where department sheets are available here, right? So what is department sheet? There's something information you can find out with the help of this worksheet description. You will able to find out, and in which solutions it is applicable. We can see it is applicable for the all solutions. All solutions means it is applicable for upstream and it is applicable for downstream as well. How to update it? We have to go customer users with appropriate permission. So we require this particular permission. What permission we required? We have to give access of this customer administrator. So if you have the access of this customer administrator, you will able to perform this activity. How to do, like where to load it? We can see we have to go site manager, data importer and export, import department. So like that, this information we can easily get from this particular data template, from this particular document for our understanding purpose, and accordingly we have to collect the information and we have to prepare our sales. Okay, so now let's say I'm just going to department tab here. So now if you come to department tab, now we can see same information, same template what we see earlier while working with our activity. So same template is also available here as well. Like we have the department ID and we have the description. Parent ID, it is marked in the green yellow. That means this is something optional. If you would like to enter any value, you can enter. Otherwise, you can skip the value of this parent department ID. So now we can say, with the help of the worksheets, like enablement workbook as well, we can get the particular template, whatever we require. So even not only this one, even if you go to address as well. So let's say I'm going to next address one. Sorry, enterprise user, not address. Enterprise user. So if you come here in the enterprise user, so in that case as well, you will able to find out the particular template, like whatever information we require. So we can say in general, like we can find out the particular template at during implementation, like whenever we have to perform this activity in that new system from this enablement work. Okay, and during discussing with the customer during business requirement like session, we also have to ask to customer like whatever information is available with them. So we have to collect department ID, we have to collect list of commodity code, we have to collect like units of measure, we have to collect enterprise users, we have to collect other information as well. So whatever information is like applicable to your system, so those information basically we can get from the enablement work. Right. So whenever we have to perform this activity in the new system, we can get the template from here, prepare your template in a separate file, and you can simply import in the system. Right. That means for the second scenario, that means in the new system, we can get this particular template with the help of the enablement work. Okay. But let's say whatever the field information we are updating here, like we have to upload like this department like field or some other field information. So like here if you see, we have that field that is department description and the department ID. So let's assume this department description, we are not sure like what is the character limit of this department description, right? So this is also the like very important, like the information. That's something we have to understand first before starting the import activity. Why? For example, let's say the customer has the department description is very long, so might be it's a completely full statement as well. They have given like that department description, and we are not sure what is the character limit of this like this department description, and you just updated the information here. So that time system has not given any error, that you thought like okay it is accepting. But when actually you try to upload in the system, so that time basically system raised some error, like that field description is like that higher character or something, or might be if system has not raised any error, but when actually you verified, you seen that like you added a full statement, but in the SAP Ariba side we have only up to the 30 characters, right? That means this will be a trouble for us, correct? So what basically we have to do in that case, we first have to understand the field properties of the template, like what is the department ID field, right? What is it like a limit of this description field, like that's something information we have to understand. If you talk about the other like file, like let's say I'm talking about this user enterprise user file. So in this case we can see we have the many more columns, or we can say that the information are available here. So in this case, we have lots of confusion, like which fields are mandatory, which fields are optional. So might be, let's say, in our cases, we do not have any requirement of this internal contract approval. So even though the customer did not have any information about this internal contract approval, but we are not sure either in that system it is mandatory or optional field. So if that is mandatory, so definitely we have to specify the information at any cost. And if that is optional, in that case, it is well and good, and system will automatically skip this. Right. So in general, we can say like we would like to understand about the field property. So how basically we can understand the field properties for this that any of the particular file. So for that, Ariba has given this option of this data dictionary. So if you come in this data import and export, we can see we have the option that download data dictionary. This is very important. So if you would like to know about the field properties or some other information or even as template information as well, we have to basically download this data dictionary file. So when you click on this part, so what system will do, basically system will download this data dictionary in your local machine. So we can see it is time to download here. Let it be download first. Now let's open this particular file, and we can see this is the data dictionary file. Right. So in this file, we have the different sheets are available in this file as well. Like we can see we have external master database pool, import master database pool. So like that we have the different sheets are available here. So if you come in the first sheet, that is external system master data pool. So here we can see we have some list of files are available here. But for this, basically, Ariba has not given any of the particular import task name. Why? Because this information will land in SAP Ariba from the backend SAP system. So nothing we have to do here. But if you go to next sheet, that is import master database pool. So in this case, we can see here also we have the different kind of that file name are available. But for this file name, we have this the data import task name. So whatever the task you want to perform, so we can see we have the hyperlink option here. So if you click on the particular hyperlink, system will automatically navigate you to the particular file. So for example, let's say I would like to work on the import department. So what I will do, we can see we have the task here available here as import department. And if you click on the import department, the system will automatically navigate you to the import department CSV file. Right. Now here we can also see some detail level information like task, what is task name, import department CSV, what is task description. We can just read and go through this part. What is the file name, department CSV. What is the column name? So column name basically is the department ID and the description. What is the new file column name? New file column name is whatever the new file that basically you will prepare. Like this is the new file column name. So we have the department ID and the description in the new file column name. Same information you can see here as well, department and the description. Right. So like that information we can get from here. Same way we can also understand what is the field description. So a unique internal identifier for the department or a user visible description for the permission. What is data type? That is basically string, and most important, data length, string length. String length means character limit. So what is the character limit for this data like a department ID? So for department ID they have given as 50, and for description they have given as the 510. That means while importing, while preparing the file, if your character limit is up to 50 or I mean equal to or less than 50 or equal to or less than that 510, that means we are good and system will accept the value. And very important is that column L. Column L basically is the required. So wherever you will see true, true means yes. False, false means no. So here we can see this column like department ID. So department ID basically is that mandatory field. Description basically is the optional field. So that means, as you know, since any of the field will be mandatory, so we have to specify the information at any cost. So that means we have to give the information about department ID, description. If you want to skip, you can skip. It's up to you. Right. Same way, if you come here in the last, sorry, if you come here in the other, like that sheet, like let's say I'm going to pick this import, where it goes. Okay, here, import enterprise users, right? So if you click on this import enterprise users, we can see we have the different column name here. So the same column name will be available in your particular export template, what basically we have exported earlier, like this is shared like user export. So in this case, we have a multiple file here, multiple column here, multiple field here. So for all those fields, we can also get the information here. Like wherever we can see true, that means those are the mandatory field. And wherever you can see we have the blank or false, that means those are the basically optional field. Right. So accordingly, what we can do, we can just pick this, like the column name in our new file. We have to prepare the file and we can import in the system. So like that, we have to perform the data import and export activity in that new system as well as in the existing system. Any question?
Yes, Rohit, I have one question. Go to the data dictionary file. Yes. In last option, null. In last column.
Okay, this null, right?
Null. Yeah. In null, null means you can put as a null or your market so blank. Yeah, it is okay. Or you have to put null.
Yes, null means basically the blank value. So if you want to use the blank value, you can use the blank value or you can put only the null and you double.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Means if you want to allow null, then here yes should be marked, right?
No, we have to keep the value as the blank value or NULL value.
NULL. Okay. Yeah.
But generally, whenever we are keeping is the blank, so we also have to meet with this column L field as well. So here we can see we have the true is required, right?
Required.
And if you want to put as a null here, so system will not accept.
Not accept.
So we have to give the value.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. So like this, basically, we have to perform like yes, please go ahead.
So रोहित, हाँ मुझे भी एक क्वेश्चन था एक्चुअली, मतलब ये तो अपना अंदर से जो चेंजेस करते हैं हम कस्टमाइज करते हैं उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम देख रहे हैं, तो जो रिक्वायरमेंट आता है एक्चुअल में, जैसे कि हम डिपार्टमेंट्स का असाइनमेंट्स का जो रिक्वायरमेंट जो हमें डिपार्टमेंट चाहिए, तो वो किस टाइप का होता है, मतलब वहां से रिक्वायरमेंट कैसे आता है हमें, कि जो हमने एक्सपोर्ट जो फाइल किया उसी फाइल में हमें रिक्वायरमेंट्स आता है क्या वो टाइप में?
नहीं। तो अगर आप इम्प्लीमेंटेशन प्रोजेक्ट में एक एक्टिविटी परफॉर्म कर रहे हो, सो इन द ड्यूरिंग इम्प्लीमेंटेशन यू हैव टू कैप्चर द इंफॉर्मेशन इन दिस इनेबलमेंट वर्क। आपको यहाँ पे खुद से कैप्चर करना पड़ेगा, आपको पूछना पड़ेगा कि व्हाट एवर डिपार्टमेंट लाइक लिस्ट ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट यू हैव, आपको बताएंगे वो, सो दैट इंफॉर्मेशन यू हैव टू कैप्चर इन द इनेबलमेंट वर्क, ठीक है, ड्यूरिंग द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, and accordingly we have to prepare the template and we have to import in the system. But अगर भी आप same activity अगर आप support project में कर रहे हो, so in the support project you will get via the email or via the ticket as well, like can you please create this new department in the system, this is the department ID or this is the department description. Might be sometimes if the customer they have not provided to you, so we have to again get back to them and we have to ask them, can you please provide me this below details, like what could be department ID and what could be the department field, department description. So ऐसे हम इसे कट करते हैं during implementation.
So okay, so in the implementation project manually things we need to do, like this description and all workbook, we need to gather the information and we need to act accordingly in the implementation project. And in the support project, like the requirement comes and as according to that requirement we work in the support, like what we have done, export and import like this way. Okay.
इसीलिए मैंने आपको दोनों बताया कि how if you have to do in the existing system, how to do. If you have to do the new system in the new system, so how to do in the new system. That is why I show you this data dictionary and this enablement of workbook. So data dictionary तो आपको मतलब अपने system से मिल जाएगा. If you go to your own system, you can download from here. But enablement workbook only you will get during the implementation. Okay. So one more thing we have to remember here about the data dictionary. So data dictionary basically is getting updated automatically based on your system landscape. So abhi suppose for example, just now before some time we just exported or extracted this data dictionary from our system, right? And we can see these are the different information are available in the data dictionary. But what will happen? Let's say for tomorrow you have added some custom field or some different field in the screen, right? So what system will do? System will automatically add those information in your data dictionary file. So that is why it is recommended that whenever you have to refer the data dictionary, you have to always download the latest one. It's not like like that, like you extract it today and you have to perform the activity in the next year and you are referring the same file in the next year. That is an incorrect practice. So we always have to download the latest data dictionary.
Okay.
Got it? Okay.
Yes, right.
So again I'm repeating this activity आपको hands on करना पड़ेगा. मैंने बस एक या दो फाइल बताया है, but apart from this one or two file, we have the many more file. So you can just go to the system because these are something the different kind of data record. You can just try to that go through the different file and different format. Sorry, perform this data import activity. So you will have the better hands on this particular activity. Okay. So that's
Yes.
it about this data import and export to be sorry, that's it about the site manager. So these are the activity basically we are doing in this site manager. So all the other options are very optional. Like for example, let me just show you one thing here, like audit log. So if you go to audit log, so this is basically very simple, that basically information purpose configuration are available. So if you click on the list all, you will able to see that particular information about that your login. So in this system, like let's assume this is my credential, this is my customer specific site and I'm using. So let's say assume by mistakenly I shared with you, or might be you got it the my credential and you started using in your own system. How we come to know? How will come to know either it is being used by this our internal team or you are using? How I come to know? So I can come to know with the help of this audit log and the user session. So if you talk about the audit log, so audit log basically capturing the information about your activities, that whatever activities you did in the system. So when you log in, whatever the dear username it was there, that something information will be available here. Whatever activities happened, that information will also be here along with the IP address. Even system is also capturing your IP address as well. So let's assume for tomorrow, coming to your point. So I think you had discussion with this Mahesh, like if I'll purchase one ID and can you use the two ID, there are two system. So the answer is no. Even though if you will use, so you thought no issue, who will capture this thing? I'm going to use your system and you can use the same system as well, like from the same credential. So your IP address will be captured here and will able to find out your IP address. So with this IP address, if I will investigate, I can find out your name as well, because in the system you will have the name. IP address is very important parameter, right? So like this, the information is getting captured in this the audit log. Sorry, it's down in the file. So we can capture the in the audit log. Even at this moment, if you go to user session, so who is the person who logged in the system? In our site, it will give the information of all the users. Like we can see 54, 55, 56, something Dion. So these are the users who logged in the system at this moment. So I can find out this information as well along with the same your host name. That means your IP address. And I have the flexibility if I want to disconnect, like let's say I would disconnect this user, select this particular checkbox, click on the disconnect, system will automatically kick out from the system. So this configuration is only for the optional, just only for information purpose. I explained you, but generally we have to do the data import and export activity in the site manager. Okay.
Yes, Rohit. So I think this is the advantage of Ariba, like user all monitoring and all audit log is available in Ariba. So this is
Exactly.
one of the advantage of Ariba, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Because this is the cloud solutions, right? You can use in any of the system. No need to download and install any of this technical software or hardware. So this is a kind of that tracking like option are available. We can track our the system information. Okay.
Okay.
So in the next we have the integration manager. Integration manager will not touch now. So once we start the integration session, then we'll talk about the integration manager. So in the next, we have the master data manager. Master data manager we will see in the tomorrow session. Okay. So any question, any concern?
So Rohit, what we were looking at the the template management and configuration and approval configuration is a later part, right? Means step by step we are going to learn.
Approval configuration, template configuration. ठीक है, I will discuss that, but that is different thing. तो जो आपका जो requirement था ना, ये तो इसके out of scope है. ठीक है, we can cover, we will discuss.
नहीं मतलब रोहित उसमें भी दिया था, ब्रोशर दिया था ना, उसमें एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड कोर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में टेम्पलेट मैनेजमेंट एंड कॉन्फ़िगरेशन और
वो
वो
नहीं
था
आता है,
जिसमें
टेम्पलेट और अप्रूवल आपका उसमें नहीं आता है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में नहीं आता या कोई एडमिन नहीं आएगा, तो उसका सेपरेट आपका कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ही होता है. बट कोई नहीं, आई विल टेल यू, आई विल एक्सप्लेन यू.
ओके ओके
वो मैं कवर कर लूंगा.
ओके.
ठीक है.
तो और ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में अप्रूवल फ्लो का भी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में ही आता है ना?
नहीं, इसमें नहीं आता है. Template or approval workflow, that is both are different thing and out of administration. Even it's a part of the configuration itself, but इसके अंदर नहीं आते, इसके बाहर होता है. तो मैं बता दूंगा दोनों आपको. Don't worry.
ओके
It
ओके
will
Okay,
not
Rohit.
take much time.
हाँ ठीक है चलिए.
Rohit, as of now we clear about import export in site manager, but for hands-on, when you provide the access, because we have only one access and we ultimately use those access.
You can check with Mahesh. I think Mahesh will guide you. Okay, let me talk to
Yeah,
Mahesh. I'll transfer
yeah.
you something.
Okay, sure. No.
ठीक है.
तो एक्सेस का रोहित हम कैसे मैनेज कर सकते हैं? मतलब वही है कि जब मैं लॉगिन करूंगा, अभी दो सिस्टम से कैसे होगा? मतलब वो दीपक भी है और मैं भी
आई
हूँ
थिंक
यहाँ
एक
पे.
बार महेश से बात कर लीजिए, आपको मतलब उन्हें बता देगा, क्योंकि एक आईडी से आप एक ही बार लॉगिन मतलब एक ही सिस्टम यूज करिएगा. अगर
हाँ
आप
वही.
मल्टीपल यूज करिएगा ना, मल्टीपल सिस्टम यूज करिएगा, दे विल ब्लॉक. क्योंकि होता क्या है ना, देखिए अभी यू आर टेकिंग फॉर द प्रैक्टिस पर्पज, राइट? बट अभी इसको अगर आप देखो नेगेटिव वे में, सपोज आई एम टेकिंग द एक्सेस फ्रॉम द वेंडर, आई एम सेइंग आई विल डू द प्रैक्टिस फॉर माय सेल्फ, मैं ले लिया एक्सेस. व्हाट आई विल डू, I will just like, even though sometimes we are correct, sometimes we are in the other way, different wrong way as well. So I will send in that other person. Like suppose मैंने 5,000 में लिया, मैंने दो बंदों से बात किया, they are agree to distribute. So मैंने बोला ठीक है, दो तुम दो, हम तीनों शेयर कर लेते हैं. करेक्ट. तो हमने अपने बेनिफिट में किया हुआ है, बट सप्लायर से हमने एक ही एक्सेस लिया हुआ है. तो क्या होता है उसमें, तो सप्लायर इज इन लॉस एंड जो वेंडर जिसने दिया एक्सेस वो तो लॉस में है, बट वी आर इन द प्रॉफिट. हमारा अपना पैसा रिफंड कुछ आ गया. तो उस केस में क्या करते हैं, वो लोग ब्लॉक कर देते हैं. तो आपका अगर कोई भी डिफरेंट आईपी एड्रेस आएगा एक सिस्टम एक ही आईडी पे, सो दे विल गिव सम रिमाइंडर टू यू, दे विल चेक द डिटेल्स लाइक व्हाट एक्टिविटी यू आर डूइंग. बिकॉज समटाइम कभी कभी क्या होता है, इफ यू आर यूजिंग द VMware मशीन, तो उसमें क्या होता है कि आपका डिफरेंट आईपी एड्रेस रहेगा. करेक्ट. तो उस केस में वो लोग चेक करते हैं कि इट इज रियली दैट एनी लाइक VM मशीन का आईपी एड्रेस है, कोई मतलब वर्चुअल डेस्कटॉप का आईपी एड्रेस है, या इट इज अ रियल सिस्टम. सो बेस्ड ऑन दैट दे विल इन्फॉर्म यू, एंड वो लोग क्या करते हैं, अगर वो कंटिन्यू रहेगा तो ब्लॉक कर देंगे. ऐसा रिस्क रहता है उसमें.
ओके, तो हमें एक ही सिस्टम पे रह के स्क्रीन शेयर करके प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा, ऐसा आप बोल रहे हो क्या? मतलब ये टाइप का?
माइट बी, लेट मी चेक, आई विल गेट बैक टू
ओके.
यू.
या ओके नो प्रॉब्लम. यस. सो अगर वही है, हाँ महेश से बात करते हैं। तो अगर 2 दिन में, अगर हमें कल नहीं तो परसों अगर एक्सेस अभी 2 दिन में मिल गया तो हम प्रैक्टिस भी चालू कर सकते हैं, इसलिए पूछ रहे थे हम।
ठीक है, मैं बोलता हूँ कुछ देर में आपको बात करके।
प्लीज प्लीज।
ठीक है चलेगा। Yes.
ठीक है, चलिए, थैंक यू,
हाँ हाँ,
बाय।
बाय बाय।
हाँ ओके देन, सी यू टुमारो। थैंक यू रोहित।
थैंक यू रोहित।